we started. I can't. Something I paid over here.
Yeah. Get the door for me. All right. Let's see. Praise Brother Delta Ruth. Peace, 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 and more peace. I pray everybody's doing pretty good. Especially considering the circumstance of everything that's going on in the world. We control the things we can control and let y'all deal with the stuff that we can't control, right? So this is like a quick impromptu. I know you had asked me about the Shabbat, right? And you asked me about how do we calculate the actual Shabbat day, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain it in a way that I think will be very, very easy for everyone to really grasp. Okay. And one of the biggest things is people got to realize that it's not about how we feel. This is one of the major stepping points or stepping stones that people can't get past. The stumbling block is when you start thinking about how you feel versus what reality is, right? We're never supposed to be able to throw away truth for comfort, right? That's one of the things that get us in trouble all the time. Okay. So I'm going to start. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to show a couple of things as well to help tie this up. Okay. And then that way, hopefully everybody can, understand it. Because we're putting an issue on us, on ourselves. Think about people that got jobs. So when you got jobs, this is why when you go back and look in antiquity, the Shabbat, etc., in a theocracy, meaning a land controlled by the priesthood, Yah the Creator, with the governor, this is why the Shabbat definitely works there, right? And like I said, one thing about us, we're not going to mince words. We're going to talk about and mention what Yah himself says, right? So we'll go through that. We'll go through a couple of things, okay? So let me highlight this, and I'm gonna read something to you guys or whatever, some stuff to you guys. Okay, let's see. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Boom, boom, and that is page 939 in the Ungers. And then I'm gonna go back and look at something else as well. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. Just bear with me for 1 second. All right. So let's do that. And one more thing, and then I'll be ready to rock. And like I said, this is going to be one of the reasons that a lot of people don't really grasp it. It's not because it's difficult to understand. It's just, we're going off of something that they gave us, and we've been using it for God knows how long, right? And so we trained ourselves, right? Let me show you. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to throw on the screen one of the verses that a lot of people don't understand from the book of Daniel. The Dutch Root said that is one of my stomach blocks. It's how I feel about it. That's something I definitely have to work on, not with the Shabbat or other things. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just a matter of not being afraid, because fear is the great stabilizer. It's the thing that stops us from doing anything. Like, if you're afraid, it's very hard to act on anything, right? All right, so so we got that pretty much squared away. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the book of Daniel, right? And let's see. All right. All right, so let's go to Daniel. Let's see. All right, so we're going to go to Daniel chapter 7, verse 25, right? So let's go to Daniel 7 and 25. Let's see. Boom. And I'm going to share my screen. Verse 25. All right. Okay. So now, when we look at Daniel, right, and let me share my screen with you so everybody can see it. Okay. And you want to go to Daniel 2 and 21? Or Daniel, what verse are you saying? Are you saying Daniel chapter 2, verse 21? That's something you want to look at? Okay, let's see. All right. Hopefully it's big enough. All right, perfect. Okay, as you can see in verse 25 here, hope it's big enough. Let's make sure. Okay. It says, and he shall have speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and the times and a dividing of times. Right. So when you look at this standpoint, and you look at who's actually ruling the world, etc., someone, according to the book of Daniel from the Most High, is going to think to change the times and laws. Key word. What's up, C True? Shalom from Oklahoma. Shalom. Shalom alaikum, brother. All right. So someone is going to pretend to change the times and laws. It's very important that when we read things contextually the correct way. So 7 and 25 literally says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High. So he's anti-Yah, anti-Most High. And he shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Okay, and we see and experience that going on right now. The children of Yisrael, those are the saints. And you can find that in the book of Psalms, etc., in multiple places. But we're the saints, right? And it says, and think. So this person is going to think to change times and laws. Not that he actually can. See, it takes us to buy into it. Now, why am I saying this? Okay, so to help you understand, this is a smartwatch, right? Smartwatch. Now, with this smartwatch, we all know biblically they didn't have these, okay? They didn't have computers, they didn't have cell phones, etc. So then you got to ask yourself, how did they keep and track time? See, if you want to understand something, you have to put yourself in that person's, in our forefathers, in their shoes. So they didn't have this smartwatch. They didn't have a cell phone that they could sit down and look at time on, right? They didn't have that. So you said the Most High does right. Daniel 2 and 21. Let's go to Daniel 2 and 21 real quick, and I'm gonna go back into that real quick. But and I'll go back to this. So that's a key thing to remember, right? Let's jump down to 21. All right, and he changeth the times and the season. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom to the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. Boom, and that's it, right? So yes, correct. So the Most High does the change. He doesn't think to, but in Daniel chapter 7, verse in the 21st, I think it's 21st verse, that person thinks to change them. Here, the Most High says what? And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings. We see that, right? And setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise. We was talking about wisdom the other day. And knowledge to them that know understanding. Right? So yes, correct. That's right. The Most High does that. So now the Most High's explained that for us to understand, it's going to take a bit of wisdom. Not a lot. We just can't get lost in the sauce, basically. Okay. So, and what do I mean by that? Okay, now you can go online right now, or you can get an almanac, etc. You can know exactly when the new moon is going to change. The new moon is actually not visible. Okay. So when you're looking up in the sky and you see that small sliver and that small sliver goes away, boom, you got a new moon. And then after that 24-hour period, you start going into the other phases of the moon. So let me show you the phases of the moon. Now, to be honest with you, the phases of the moon are not going to be as important. Okay. They definitely prove it to yourself. You can use them, right? But the phases of the moon are not going to be necessarily 100% important. And I'm going to show you exactly why I say that, okay? So let me go back to it and let me share my screen, okay? On this now. Let me share my screen here. All right. So let me know if you guys can see this. These are the phases of the moon, okay? And if you look, it says a 29.5 day lunar cycle. That's lunar means moon, right? Okay, and truthfully, there's a certain nurse that did the Shabbat and Yah's appointed time, and then you said change. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people try to change, but it's really, see, the thing about it is this: the reason that man in Daniel chapter 7 ought to change the time is because nobody can physically go up there and change the time. What do we read in Bereshit? He gave us the sun, the moon, and the stars for what? To tell times and seasons, to understand time. That's the clock. That is the main clock. There is no other clock. This is not a clock. You'll never read in the scriptures daylight saving time. You won't read anything about a cell phone, a smartphone. You won't read anything about a laptop, desktop, computer. At most, you probably see a sundial, but that's sun. Now, remember, why is that important? Because when you go back to Yah, Yah said, in the beginning, there was darkness. There was night. There was not light. So in the beginning, the day starts with darkness to our forefathers. It doesn't start with the sun. It doesn't start at 12 o'clock midnight either. So when it starts at dark, remember the Jews, they keep the Shabbat incorrect. They keep the Shabbat based upon when the sun sets. Now, here's the crazy part. I'm going to show you guys something real quick. If I can show you outside. All right, so it's raining here. I'm going to grab my camera. I don't know if you guys can see this outside. Okay, that's a piece of my backyard outside, right? Okay, the sun is not out. Okay, the sun is not out, but it's light outside. So if this was a Friday, according to them, this would be the Shabbat. And that's not the Shabbat. Because when you go back, the evening and the morning. So I want to show you guys what I mean by evening. Okay, I'm going to put that on the screen as well right after this. So let me just make a notation. And if you want to take some notes, you can follow along, okay? And like I said, I never teach anything or come out and teach anything. And somebody's seeing the shirt that says Demon, it's Demon Slayer. My son bought this shirt for me. So it's not like somebody might look at that and say, oh, look what you got on. Because you know how people are, right? And yeah, glad to have you by, Seek Truth. First time stopping in. That's good. So now let's look at the 29.5-day lunar cycle. So as you can see in option 1, you see the new moon. It's dark, so you wouldn't see the new moon. Then you see the waxing crescent coming from the right. Okay, it's coming from the right, always coming from the right, not the left to the right, always coming from the right. When you see it on the left, that's the waning crescent, and that's when it's coming. It's getting ready to go to the next month. Okay, so you got the new moon, the waxing crescent. Then you got the first quarter moon. And that's just, and it sounds weird because you'll think a quarter would be 4 slices of the moon, but it's really halfway. Okay. So halfway is the quarter moon. But they're going to call it the quarter moon, not because of the shape of what you see visibly, but because of where it falls in the totality of all 8 cycles. Okay. And you'll understand when I'm going to explain a little bit better. So the first quarter moon is halfway. Then number 4, you got the waxing gibbous. So it's coming from the right to the left. You'll see a small sliver of nothing on the left, and on the right is the majority. That's the waxing gibbous. Now, of course, everybody knows what a full moons look like. When you look up there and you see the entire moon, that's a full moon. Okay? And I'm going to tell you something. There is no chaos. There's no chaos with creation. The only chaos is what man creates. Okay? Because if there was chaos, we wouldn't exist. Because something would have been smacked us or done something to us, etc., if it was just by chance. But it's not. Everything is by Yah, the strong one, our master, right? So you got the full moon, number 5. Then you got the waning gibbous. Now you're starting to see it's dark on the right side, right? Remember, beginning of the month, it's dark on the left side. And you're looking at me inverted, so I'm saying left side. So when you look up in the sky and you look to your left hand, you'll see if it's dark on that side, you're at the earlier parts of the month. Okay? And if it's on the right hand, it's dark. So no matter where you are on planet Earth, if I drop you somewhere, you would understand that. Okay? Then you got the waning gibbous, right? Which is it's dark on the right side. So now you're getting closer towards the end of the month. Remember, dark on the left, early in the month. Dark on the right, end of the month. You're getting close to the end of the month. Full moon, basically, almost a little bit past the halfway point. So then you got the last quarter moon. Remember the first quarter moon, it was dark on the left-hand side. Now with the last quarter moon, it's dark on the right-hand side. Because as you traverse, it gets dark on the right. And then, of course, the waning crescent, which is majority just a sliver on the left-hand side showing, dark on the right. Once that goes all the way dark, you're back to option 1, which is new moon. So it just takes a little time to look at it, go outside a couple times, look at the sky, and then identify. Like tonight, if you can, go out and identify what phase of the moon we're in right now. Then you can go online and look at the new moon cycles. It'll tell you where the new moon is going to be, what day it's going to hit, even the time. Okay? Now, but let's keep it simple for a second. So you don't have to really understand this all in totality, but the more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding you have, as Yah told us in Daniel chapter 2, verse 21, the Most High gives us the wisdom and understanding. So the more you have on the left-hand side, the month just started. If it's dark. On the right-hand side, the month is almost over. It's closer to over than it started. Because after the full moon, you start seeing that sliver of dark on the right side. Okay. So that's very important. So now let's go into the book of Bereshit. I'm going to go into Bereshit. Okay. And I want to show you something in Bereshit. And okay. Now, when you go in Bereshit, I think you guys are, hold on, let me go back and make sure you can see it. Let me share my screen there. All right, let's see, Bereshit. Okay, so when you go back to Bereshit, the first time you see it, darkness, it's the Hebrew word koshek, right? When you see the word darkness in Bereshit chapter 1, verse 2, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of the Most High moved upon the face of the waters. Right? Shalom, 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 Sue. My good sister Sue is in. And so you look at verse 2, you see darkness there, and that's Hebrew 2822. Okay, so let me see if I can pull it up on the screen. Okay, let me see if I can pull it up on the screen. Yeah, there we go. All right. As you can see from that screen, it literally says Hebrew 282 Koshek. It says from Hebrew 2821, the dark. Hence, literally, darkness. Figuratively, misery, destruction, death, ignorance, sorrow, wickedness. Dark, and then it says what? Night, obscurity. Night. Night. It's very important because now it's what? It's night. Okay? So that's what it's saying. As you can see there, it says dark. Literally, darkness. But then it says darkness is synonymous with what? Night. As you guys can see that, everybody can see that, darkest night, right? So now nighttime is the darkness. Now, why am I saying that? Because you might be saying, okay, well, Hezekyhwh, you said dark and night, they're synonyms. You kind of knew that, right? This is why I'm saying it. So when we go down, we look at the word evening. The word evening is the Hebrew word areb, right? And it's Hebrew 6153. So I'm put on the screen. All right, it says areb. Now watch this here. It'll say from the 6150 dusk, right? But watch what it says. Day, evening, night. Night. As I just showed you guys outside, it is not, I'm Central Standard Time because I'm in Louisiana right now. So it is not night right now. You can go outside right now. The sun is not out. And we'll get into that in the later discussion of how the sun is not out, but it's still light outside and how that actually works with the shape of the earth. So we'll get into that as well. Because according to everybody, if the sun is not shining on you, it shouldn't be light outside, right? So we'll get into that as well. Correct. Hezekyhwh says that word darkness, there's a very interesting word. The next time it's used again is when the darkness fell upon Egypt. And watch this here. When the darkness fell upon Egypt, it was nighttime. That's what it was. It was nighttime. No street lights, etc. Yeah, you probably had torches and stuff like that, but no street lights. So that's darkness. And it's darkness at the wrong time of day when it's supposed to be light outside. Also, another thing in English that we have a problem with is the word day. When we think day, we automatically think what? Daylight, sun. But no, the day is a 24-hour period. Okay? So just so you got day. If I say it's daylight, if I say it's day outside, or what you can say day outside, what day is it? And you kind of use those words. We use them loosely because we just understand them. We don't really give much thought to them. But when you think about daytime, you're thinking about it's light outside. The daylight hours, right? And then when you say darkness, you know it's not daytime. Okay? So with that being the case, we just see now that evening, areb, is the same word, and it goes into what? Darkness, night. So now we got darkness, right? We got the darkness, Hebrew 2822, koshek, right? Then we go into the word areb, which is dealing with what? Evening. And when we look at that evening, we see what? It's nighttime. They want us to believe, because watch this here. You have to have a clear, concise time when you start the Shabbat. But if it's dusk outside, there's all types of minutes where you still have light outside, but it's not completely dark. So when would the Shabbat actually start? Remember, they didn't have this. They didn't have synchronized watches, etc. Our forefathers did not have those. So to make it crystal clear, everybody knows Yah keeps it simple, right? When you look outside and it's dark, the day has started. Not when it's a little light outside, not when it's twilight, little light outside. Hezekyhwh says so much is lost in translation from the Hebrew or Greek to the English. Correct. And what we're doing is the way the Western society looks at it. Because remember, he thinks to change the times and laws. So he thinks to change the times and laws from evening and morning is the first day. Because that's what it says in Battle Sheet 1 and 5 on the screen. It says, and God or Yah called the light day, and the darkness he called night. See, the darkness, that's that same word, Hebrew 2:8, 2, right? The darkness he called, the koshek, he called it what? Night, right? And it says, and the evening, right, areb, and the morning was the first day. So when we hear, like he said, remember, the light outside is day. But you have a 24-hour period that, as we call a whole day in English. You see what I'm saying? So you got day, 24 hours, then you got day as in light outside. Right now, the light is still outside. It's getting darker now, but the light is outside still. So if it was Shabbat today, Shabbat would not be starting right now. It would not be starting right now. And remember, the moon doesn't change. As far as that's never going to be 30 days before you get a new moon. It's already going to be 29 and a half. And that's very important. Okay? That's very, very, very important. No matter where you are, you're going to get the same amount of time. Okay? Now, you know, you got places, people say, what about the places where it's always light outside or it's always dark for, 30 nights in that vampire movie, whatever, right? We don't live there. That's completely irrelevant, right? We don't live there. So if somebody was living there, then technically they wouldn't be keeping Shabbat anyway, right? All right. So, and that's not the children of Israel's land anyway. So therefore, that's completely different. All right. So now we understand. We understand what the word koshek means, darkness. We understand what the word areb means, which is what? Areb is dealing with the evening. So when you go into the evening and the darkness, it's the same thing intertwined. And that's why I just showed you right at the bottom. It says areb, it says evening tide, then it says night. So when it gets dark outside, that's when the day starts, in the evening time. But we've been trained that right now, how it looks outside when I showed you guys, that's evening time. So we've been trained that evening when it's a little light outside. But according to the scriptures, evening is dark. Okay? And we know night is dark, as we see in verse 5. And Yah called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Okay? And like again, that word darkness comes from the Hebrew word what? It comes from the Hebrew word koshek, darkness, right? And then you get the word evening, you get areb. Okay? So now that we got that understood, okay, let me see. He said, I'm surprised most people didn't catch under that, considering he didn't create actually the sun until verse 16 in Genesis 1. Correct. Because this is what I was trying to explain to the guy on Sunday, the Muslim on Sunday. In Genesis chapter 1, let there be light, and there was light. That light is not the sun. That's why, like you just said, you picked up on it, that you get the sun later. And it said, and Yah made, in verse 16, and Yah made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and he made the stars also. And then people will sit there and say, well, no, that's not true, because the moon doesn't give off its own light. It reflects the actual sun. That's not true. Because when you go back and look, you can right now gauge the temperature of the moonlight in the shade, and you will actually see that it's actually colder. The temperature is lower. Okay. And then Delta says the light was wisdom. Correct. So the first thing Yah did was create wisdom, and with wisdom and understanding. So we know that wisdom is to be the stability of our times. So how do you make a stable earth? You got to have wisdom. The Creator is never changing the paradigm of how. The thing he's holding us accountable for is the same thing he used to create the universe. I don't want to call it universe, but to create the system that we live in. Okay. So we got that. So we know we got 8 phases of the moon, right? When the darkness is literally on the left, right? When the darkness is on the left, you get what? That's your earlier part of the moon. Because remember, a new moon is completely dark, and then it starts going away to the right, where the right is lit up. And when the left is lit up, and not lit up, and then when the right is dark, that's when you're at the end of the actual month. Okay, just to make sure we understand that. All right. So, so now, and that gives you 29 and a half days. Now watch this. The Most High told us that we had to keep a what? A 7-day Shabbat. Every 7 days, we keep a Shabbat. Okay? So, and back up just for a second. As the brother said, the light was wisdom. That's it. That light is wisdom. Okay? Wisdom is the light that we actually have. It illuminates and shows us what we need to do, how we need to do it, when we need to do it. Understanding what we're talking about right now, to understand the times, the seasons, etc., it takes wisdom. And that's why in Daniel chapter 2, verse 21, the Most High said he gave us wisdom and understanding, and he is the one that changed the times. Make sense? So we crystal clear on that. All right. And no problem, seek truth. We know how autocorrect work, right? All right. So now we got that. So now let's take a look. I want to take a look at the new moons, right? So when you look at the new moons, now, well, before we go there, let's look at the word moon. So let me pull that up for you real quick. And the etymology of the word moon. So once we understand what the word moon means, then everything becomes a little bit more crystal clear, right? Okay, so I'm gonna click on this. This is the Edamon Online, and I'm gonna go here. Present that. Share my screen. Okay, you guys can see that. As you can see, it says moon, heavenly body. Which, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Okay. All right, so it says heavenly body which revolves around the earth monthly. Monthly. This is why that's important, because the word moon and month, they're synonyms. That's where we get the word month. Moon from is month. As you can see, heavenly body which revolves around the earth monthly. Middle English, Monet. From Old English, Mona. From Proto-Germanic, Menon. Source also of Old Saxon, Old High German, Mono. Oh, now when you get down here, I'm gonna highlight what it says right there. It says menses. Okay, menses, moon month. Now, why am I saying menses, moon month? Because when you look up the word menses, and I'm gonna do that for you guys as well. So now we're gonna come right back to this, okay? But I want to show you, as you see, it says menses, moon month. Okay, let's see. Are you talking to me, Delta Roots, about a spreadsheet? I'm not sure. Okay, so let me show you real quick. Stop screen, and let me present this other screen to you. Now, remember in the etymology of the definition of the word moon, you saw the word menses. So menses, also known as the menstruation or a period, is the monthly shedding, right, of the uterine lining. That's in women. So women get their monthly cycle. You got a moon cycle, monthly cycle. That's why even you hear people say it must be a full moon outside because the women are acting crazy. Okay. Okay. So that's kind of what it is. So when you see menses, remember menses, also known as a menstruation or period, is the monthly shedding. So that's the monthly where the woman gets her monthly cycle. Why? Because it happens every month. If someone is getting a monthly cycle every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, twice, 3-4 times a month, there's something wrong. It's supposed to be once per month in that period. That's the cycle, right? Okay, so now let's go back real quick. All right. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're talking about the thing I'm showing. That's called eastward. Hold on, let me make sure. you're talking about are you talking about this delta roots? Are you talking about that? If so, this is, if you're talking about this, this is called, yeah, this is called Eastward, and it's free. You can download it on your I think on the iPhone it's called Eastward. On an Android phone, it's going to be called MySword. And you get on your computer as Eastward, and it's free. So you can go to the front, you can go up to the top, you can type in search, you can search for words, verses, you can actually type notes as well. You can go in and look at commentaries like that or whatnot. I don't really listen to the commentaries. There may be some stuff in there, but the heathen, that's not the heathen's job to teach. Look at the editors and stuff like that or whatever. You can put your notes in as well. Like this is stuff that I go through. And let's say, for instance, I want to go through and say, right? Oh, and let me show proper respect. That's my bad. So if I want to go in and start a lesson plan, Yah is the greatest, right? That's what I can do. I can add my notes. And if you notice, when I was showing you guys, when he was asking those things, I printed them out earlier. I do a lot of my notes and stuff in here. Okay. So let me take that back out. And you just move these little pins to get where you want to go. So, all right. So we got that. We got a Reb, right? We got Koshek, right? And we also know in Daniel chapter 2, verse 21, the Most High is he who does the changing of times, because they're in their circuits. And the Most High explains that. Okay. All right. So we got that with the Mincy, right? So now we know what the word moon means. Okay. So we know what the word moon means. So let's go back to moon. Etymology. That's where you get the word month from. As you can see here, moon, month. Okay. Latin, mensis, month. So, but we're looking at the word moon. So the word moon literally means month. That's what it means. Let me see something real quick if I can show you guys something. Okay. All right, so it shows you, and I'm gonna look it up in here and just see if I got anything else in here as well. Okay, perfect. It has it in here. I don't have my phone hooked up to it where it be crystal clear. You know what? It's probably better I just go ahead and do that real quick. Let me see something real quick, guys. So I can show you guys instead of me just reading it. I want you guys to be able to actually physically see it and not just take my word. I don't like people taking my word for nothing, nada, Nathan. Right? Where's my other phone? Where is my other phone? Okay. As soon as I can find my other phone, guys, I can hook it up. Where's my phone? Now, well, I could use this one, but I have another one I do my artwork with, and I usually have it over here. And okay. Oh. Yeah. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm gonna use my phone, and that way I can show you guys everything that's going on. So let me go. StreamYard. And I don't need, let me see. This is the wrong one. This is the one from Sunday. Let's see if I can get in there. Oh, here we go. Got it. So let me enter the studio on here, and then I can show you guys so you can actually see it. Okay. I don't need the mic. I'll mute the mic. Into the studio. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, here we go. So as you can see, I'm gonna turn my cam on, and okay, here we go. Perfect. So as you can see here, I'm gonna go to the word moon. I don't know if you guys can see that. Right there, moon. Right? I'm gonna read that. Okay, the heavenly body, right? It says the heavenly body visible usually at night, created by Yah or God to rule the night. Genesis 1:16, and for signs, seasons, and days and years. Genesis 1-14. Religious seasons may be meant in Psalms. The moon was an object of worship by neighboring nations of Israel, right? So that's how important the moon is. We know what the sun is, we know what the sun does, or whatever case may be. Let me see. I take this out. Hold on 1 second. And then that way I can use this to show you guys if I have something in a book or whatnot. I can show it to you, and you can see it a little bit clearer. Because when I hold it up to this camera here, you see it's not very clear. So it's supposed to be high definition, but for some reason it doesn't fit the bill. Let me turn this one around, and I'll use this. Okay, let's see. Let me turn that camera on. I have to get this out of my face a little bit. All right. So that way, if I want to show you guys something like the word moon, I can highlight it. Okay. I can highlight it. Then I think it'll be easier for me to show it. See that? So that's moon. The heavenly body, right? Okay. So the word moon and month are interchangeable. Now, we already know that you got a new moon Shabbat. That's in the scriptures. If everybody understands that, I won't even waste time going through the scriptures to show it. Yes, correct. That is correct. Yes, it's 13 months in the actual Hebrew calendar. It's actually 13 months. And when you do 7 times 4, you get 28. And that's very important that people catch that. When you say 7 times 4, that's 28. You got 4 weeks in a month, 7 days in a week. But when you do times 13, you get 364 days, and then the next day is another year. Real simple. Okay. Six Group says, unfortunately, I'm the only one like me anywhere near me out here in the wilderness of Oklahoma. I have to go online to find any sort of community and like-minded followers of Yah. Yeah, brother, that's how it is, bro. That is definitely how it is. If you follow the mythology and all the idol worshipers and things like that, you can find tons of people, right? But if you follow just Yah, a strong one, you will have a hard time. Okay, that's just how it works. Yeah. So 13 months, 28 days. So if you do 28 times 13, you should come with 364. Okay. And then the next day would be starting the year. Okay. So now with that being the case, so we got that. So we know now the math adds up. So we got 13 months. And some of it tell you about the 13th month, right? Now, matter of fact, I can look, let me see. I can look it up in here. It may even say it in here. And give you because it's little hints you got to put together. That's the wisdom understanding from Yah, right? And let's see if I can show that here. Because if it's in here, I'll show it to you guys. No, it's not in here. It's not in there. Calendar is not in there. Okay, so so remember 364. So you got 364 days. Now remember, every 7 days you get a Shabbat. Not Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. Our forefathers did not use the word Friday. Neither did they use the word Saturday or Sunday or Monday or as you guys know, these days and even the name of the months are off, and they're named after idols. Okay? So when you look at, I give an example. What does the word octo mean? Somebody chat me what the word octo means. And I'll show you, he thinketh to change the times and laws. I'll show you exactly what that means. The word octo. What does the word octo mean? Correct. As Sue just said, the word octo means 8. So then why is it that October is the 10th month? What about Novus or November? You're talking about November. That's supposed to be 9. Here's the proof. What does the word deca mean? Every 10 years, we get a word. It's a word. We get a what? A new what? Decade. Deca, 10. Right? So why is December the 12th month? And in Latin, the word septum means what? 7. So why is it in this land where he thinketh to change the times and seasons, why is it that September is the 9th month? But septum or sept literally means 7. See? So that shows you they intentionally took it and took the time off. They changed the time. Remember, they didn't really change it. They think to change it. And since we were raised in the ways of the heathen and in the ways of the wicked, we adopted the custom. This is so easy to understand, because if you just if you go back in time, post-slavery, here's the crazy part. Post-slavery, so-called African Americans, foundational Black Americans, whatever you want to call us, post-slavery, we were learning Greek, we were learning Latin, etc. After slavery, we cut our literacy rate in half. You can look it up. So we was big on reading. You probably grew up in a house. You guys had an encyclopedia set. Did you use them? Not sure. But your grandmothers them always had that. Why? Because there was always a big push to know things, right? As Hosea Seek Truth just said, Hosea 4:6. My people destroy for lack of knowledge. More true than most people even know. Correct. So when you look up the word octo, so let me show you guys real quick. Just like the UFC is an octagon, or the stop sign is an octagon. It's an 8-sided sign, 8 sides. Octopus, 8 tentacles, right? But somehow October has what? It's the 10th month, because they think to change the times and laws. Delta Root says, man, this is sad. I looked up the Jewish calendar and it's the same as Greco-Roman. 12 months and 30 or 31 days we were taught wrong. And ask yourself this question. Why is it in this calendar there's 28 days, what is in February, then 1 month and a half 30, then the next month half 31, and then 30 and 30. And then you got daylight, you got leap years, right? We don't read none of this stuff in the scripture. Then you got daylight saving time. Don't read none of this in the scripture. See, a day is a 24-hour period. Daylight is the day out. The light outside is called day, but then we know it's a 24-hour period. Okay? Seek Truth said, yep, the grand illusion. Correct, the grand illusion. He thinketh. Remember, Daniel 7:27, I think. He thinketh to change the times and season. He thinketh to do it. He couldn't do it because he couldn't go up there and touch Yah in Yah's firmament and touch anything up there in the celestial body, whether it be the sun or the moon. He couldn't deal with it. So what he did was, you give the people a calendar. You have the Julius calendar, right? Then they figured out, oh, so many times that's wrong. Then they sit there and say, okay, well, how about this? We're going to give you the Augustus calendar, Augustus Caesar calendar, whatever, right? Oh, I think I said it backwards. I think it could have been the Julius. Yeah, the Augustus Caesar. Yeah, the Augustus calendar first, I think. Then the Julius calendar, and then of course now we got the Gregorian calendar from Pope Gregory. No Israelites. So why are we following the ways of the heathen and how they calculate time? And then we sit here and wonder oh, well, when is the Most High going to return? When is he going to come and redeem us? And we're running off a calendar that he never gave us. Literally a calendar he never gave us. And we're sitting here thinking we're doing something grand, something great, right? Okay, so we got that. Am I coming through loud and clear? You guys hear me? Just want to make sure. Okay, he says con. All right. Okay, con, thank you. Sue says it's quite depressing. I haven't a clue what year it is, what actual honest maps look like. Every aspect of life has been deceived. And that's the truth. That's the cold-hearted truth. But here's the crazy thing. Yah has given us the wisdom and understanding because now we know it's all a lie. So once you know something is a lie, it's all about questioning it now. I had one of that was a friend. I taught him in high school when we was in high school. He came, he's like 3 years younger than me. And I taught him how to play drums when we were in high school. I was a section leader. And literally he contacted me yesterday. And he said to me, he said, man, I talked to him. I forgot about the conversation. Him and his wife, we were talking about the conversation about maybe like 7, 8 years ago. And he just hit me about the blue yesterday and said, man, I really feel like what you was telling me all them years ago with my ex-wife, now it's his ex-wife, that you were right. And I said, well, okay. And I said, what were we talking about? Because I talked to so many people. And he broke it down. He was like, he really want to know. See, he was like, I was taught not to question God, but you're not questioning God. You're questioning religion. You're questioning concepts that you were taught from religion. That's totally different than questioning the Most High. And guess what? You can question the Most High. You can. Because he's your father. When my sons question me and ask them, you know, when they're 2, 3, 4 years old, they're going to ask a million questions, right? The 13, they kind of got it all figured out now. They know everything, right? But other than that, they're going to ask a million questions. Why? Because that's what a child does to his father. Why would I not ask you when you know everything I need to know? I'm depending on you for sustenance. So why would I not question you? I don't know it. So I'm not supposed to ask you, but I'm supposed to go out to the world, to the people that deceive me and ask the people that deceive me. But that's what religion does. It puts a stranglehold through fear, manipulation, through their wanton greed onto people to keep them in a position and keep the people subservient. So you just check up out of here, you die, and it's on to your children. They do the same thing to your children, your loved ones, and they keep the cycle going, taking tithes. Like I was joking with a guy today on Facebook. I said, yeah, because they believe that when church is over, JC comes down in the back room and takes the tithe money back to heaven with him. I mean, if you just ask yourself, think about that. People are giving their hard-earned capital away. They don't even understand that. He said, man, I'm pretty sure our children cut their teeth on their parents. Right. You know what I'm saying? Then he says, okay, Jeremiah 16:19, you haven't heard it lies from your father's scriptures. Indeed, we have. Yeah. We've been heard it lies. Everybody has, though. And then people take the lies, internalize the lies, they digest the lies, and they teach the lies. And they make disciples of men and women through lies and manipulation. Whether it's cognizantly doing it or you don't understand you're doing it at all. It's completely irrelevant. Okay. So now we got that squared away. All right. So now let's jump back. So now, as you can see, we went through the phases of the moon. We went through what the word moon meant, which is menses, right? And the word moon, a synonym for moon is month. So let me show you guys something real quick, okay? How did I do that? Synonyms for month include moon, 4 weeks, 30 days, calendar month, lunar month, etc. Even if you go here, as you can see here, they got January, right? 1 through 31. Now, the Most High said every 7 days is a Shabbat. That's the end of every week. So how do you get 31 days? So you start bleeding into the next month. That's what I'm talking about. That's the confusion. That's where the confusion comes in. Right? So as you can see it, that you can look it up yourself here. Moon, right? It says synonym for moon, forever, months. You can see it right there. Right? months. So as you can see, months, synonym for moon. The word moon and month is interchangeable. Okay? It's interchangeable. And look, see right here again. Synonyms. You see it right there, crystal clear. Click it, months. See that? Months. And if you go here on months, on the Merriam-Webster dictionary, if you go here, a synonym for month is what? Boom, right there, moon. See that? That's moon. So now we got a good bead on that. We understand that, right? We got a good bead on that. So we know where darkness is. We know what evening is. It's when it gets dark, not when it's twilight, not when it's twinkling outside, a little light, a little dark. No, when it's dark outside, that's when the day starts. And we know every 7 days you get a Shabbat, but you also get a new moon Shabbat. So every 28, going into the 29th days, because watch this here. 7 times 4 is 28. What's the next day after that? 29. But you get a new moon cycle every what? 29 and a half days. So right after that, you go into a new moon that you can't see because it's dark, right? Then you start getting first phase, second phase, third phase, etc., right? Waxing and waning, gibbous, etc. So now, as you can see, we got a good bead on that. So now, how do we bring this all together? How do we tie it on home? All right, let's go to the new moons for 2025. Okay, we're going to go to the new moons for 2025, and I'm going to show you guys something. And I want you guys to see this. Okay. So this is what now, of course, I use the day, the calendar week. You know, we all use it for work and things like that because we live in a society. But when it comes to when I'm writing my schedule at work to make sure I'm off for Shabbat, I do it based off the new moon. And the new moon, you have to do a Shabbat for the new moon anyway. And I'll show you guys that in the scriptures. Well, I'll show you the new moon. Okay. Matter of fact, let's just do that. Let's just do that. Let's just go to new moon and let's see what we can come up with, right? Right out here in the KJV, right? So let's do this here. All right. As you can see here, this is disregarding that last one, Colossians, right? Disregarding that one. This is the, let me see something real quick. Hold on, you guys can't see that, can you? Okay, let me go to the verse, okay? So when you go to so when you go to Samuel, 1 Samuel 20:5, right? As you can see here, right? Now watch this here. Watch this word. Okay, watch this word. It says, make sure you guys, okay, here we go. And David said unto Jonathan, behold, tomorrow is the new moon. Hebrew 2320. We're going to look at that, okay? Hebrew 2320. And when you look up the word new moon, it's the word Kodesh. Remember, we saw Kodesh earlier. So the word new moon is Kodesh. You got the moon, new moon, same word, Kodesh. And then it says, Hebrew 2318, the new moon by implication. Let me click that so you guys can see it. As you can see it here, it says right down here. Hold on one second. I'm sorry about that, guys. Right there. It says Kodesh, right? It says the new moon, by implication, a month, monthly new moon. So that's proof right there scripturally. But guess what? We can keep going. But it says, and David said unto Jonathan, behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I should not fail to sit with thee, the king, and meat. But let me go, that I may hide myself in the field until the third day at even. Now, hold on. Let's look at that word even. It's the Hebrew word even, 6153. You see it on the screen. This is the Kodesh. That same word we saw in Bereshit. Same word. So think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. Okay, so now we see that our forefathers were keeping the new moon. It starts the feast. As a matter of fact, when we did Passover, when did we come out of Passover? And this is going to be further proof to show you that you do it based off nighttime and not the day. So it said that we came out of, at night, the angel of the Lord came through. And if you didn't have blood on your post or your doors, right, you were unalived, right? But it was at night, and we left out at night. So when you look at the actual, and this is very important because the Most High says Passover is the 14th day, but at evening. So when you get to the evening, because the Most High knows that the heathen will try to change things. So when you get to the 14th day at evening, now watch this here. The feast of unleavened bread is supposed to last 7 days. It starts with Passover. The Passover meal is with what? The lamb, the bitter herbs, and the unleavened bread. And it lasts for 7 days. Any type of what's the name you have in your home, you're supposed to get rid of it for those 7 days. Any yeast bread, right? So now, from the 14th, if you got 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, that's 8 days. But the Most High said that the Feast of Unleavened Bread lasts for 7. So 14 plus 7, that's not possible. But if you say the 14th day at evening when it gets dark, it becomes the new day, the 15th. So now 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 7 days. And that's the 7-day feast. That's proof, again, that the day starts at dark. Now, I keep saying that. I keep going to that because the day has to start at dark. We understand that from Battle Sheet chapter 1. We took the time with Koshek, the time with Oreb, darkness, evening, etc. We explained that. We went through the phases of the moon. We explained that, right? Now we're going to tie it all the way in. So let's go to the actual the new moons for the year. Let's go to the new moons for the year, and you'll see so many people that are thinking they're keeping Shabbat and they're not. You're in the land. First off, you're in the land of commerce and traffic. Nobody's going to even give you all these days off every Friday and Saturday. That's the busiest times of year for most people. All right, especially most businesses. Okay, so as you can see here, in June 25th. Don't worry about the 5:33 because remember we do it based on what? At dark, not at 5:33 in the morning when it could be light outside, getting light, twilight, because we're in the summertime now. So 5:33. Don't worry about that. It's June 25th. If you pull up your if you pull up your calendar, the 25th was on a Wednesday. So the Shabbat started on that Wednesday. 7 days later was a Wednesday again. And then a Wednesday again. And then a Wednesday again. And then guess what happens? When you get to July, we're going to look at July. It shows right here is July 24th. June 25th, July 24th. Why is that important? Remember, it's not at 2:12 p.m., but at what? July 24th. And when you go to July 24th, that's on a Thursday. So at Thursday, after that Wednesday, when it gets dark, boom, now Shabbat starts again with the new moon on the 24th. The new moon starts the new month because moon and month are synonyms in scripture and even today in all languages, etc. It's the synonym. Etymology, I show you the etymology of the word. It comes from the same thing. Menses, moon, month, monthly cycle, menstruation for women, etc. So now we look at the 24th of July. That's going to be the new moon, the 24th. At dark, though. So then you'll have 4 of those, right? Now, if we had to use the date, it would be the 24th, then it would be the 31st. But remember, it's just Thursday, or day 5, day 5, like that, looking at the main calendar. Okay. So now you can go all the way through. You got them. You can go online and look at when it's going to hit. Right. So in July, here's the moon phases. See that? You get a first quarter. So you get the new moon. The first quarter is on July the 2nd. 8 days later, or 7 plus 2 is 9. On the day after that, you get the full moon. right? 7 days after that, you get the last quarter, right? And then after that, you get what? You get 7 days after that, you get the 24th, which is the new moon again. The math always adds up. But I don't, when you try to explain it, you start saying July, you start saying Friday and Saturday, it throws people off. That's what throws people off. So as you can see, the new moon is going to hit so-called July 24th, which is a Thursday at dark. So then when it hit at Thursday or dark, you know from that Thursday to the next Thursday to the third Thursday to the fourth Thursday, it's going to be Shabbat every Thursday to Friday. Now, let's go back. Let's look at August. You get a new moon on August 23rd. What day is the 23rd of August? Let's see. The 23rd of August is a Saturday. So you get it now for that next month, it's going to be on a Saturday. Okay. So every Thursday on Wednesday, right now, every Wednesday, tomorrow is Shabbat again. Tomorrow night is Shabbat. Why? Not because it's the middle of the day, not because it's Wednesday, but because it's 7 days after the new moon. When you look at the new moon for June, it was on a Wednesday. So then since that's the new moon, that's the new month. 7 days later, if that's a Wednesday, then it's Wednesday again. Then it's Wednesday again, 21 days. Then it's Wednesday again, 28 days. And then you'll see July 24th, you get a new moon. That's a Thursday. Then it's what? The next Thursday, the next Thursday, the next Thursday, 4 Thursdays straight. Then you get another new moon, August. August what? 23rd. It's right here on the screen. And then guess what? The 23rd is a Saturday. So you got Saturday to Sunday. Not Friday to Saturday, Saturday to Sunday. It always moves. Look, watch this here. To show you how easy this is, why do you think your birthday is never the same day every year? Yes, that right, TT. It would be at the 24th at evening. Correct. The 24th at evening. And what is even? Remember, I just showed in the Strongs. Let me go back and show it to you real quick. Remember the word strong. And remember it's even. So let me go back and show you what even is. Right? We want to make sure we got this right, so everybody won't be confused. Okay. All right. So as you can see here, even 6153. And that's what? Areb. Evening, night. So when it gets dark, boom, new day. And remember, we know that's true because the darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Most High said the evening, the darkness, even, Areb, night, was the beginning of the first day. Evening and the morning. So what is morning? See, we've been taught morning time is when it get light outside again. No. That's not what Yah said. Let's go back to Bereshit chapter 1, because that is not what Yah said at all. Let's look at what Yah said. He told us the formula for when what the light outside meant. He said that the light meant what? Day. And it said, and God called light day, not morning. Now watch this here. Morning right here is when you say it's boka, right? And it means what? Dawn. When the light does come out. So evening and the morning are the first day. And when you go all the way back down to even, from even to even is 24 hours. That's a whole complete 24-hour day. It is very simple. Right? And I've been missing some of y'all. What's the name too? So let me look at he says, yeah, I also see that as removing yeast out of our lives. Of course, yeah, that's what. Listen, let me tell you something. Me and Sue talk about this a lot. That people that we had as friends and things like that, y'all just removes them. That's how it works. Because remember, if you love a child, and you know, all of us growing up, if you love a child, especially with Yisrael, if you love a child, you've been told by your mom or somebody, your grandmother, a loved one at some point, don't hang out with him or don't hang out with her. And that's what Yah does. But he has the power to literally stop it. So then Yah stops it. For us as human beings, even sometimes to our own detriment, we crave that attention and things like that from other people. But Yah definitely knows best. So to make ourselves unleavened bread, not puffed up with pride, be humble in ourselves, and without that yeast. Correct. Real simple. And if you think about it, this is something I've never heard. When you talk to people that really understand script and their mind is completely on Yah, you don't hear people comparing. You don't hear people comparing what they have to other people. You don't hear people coveting, saying, I wish I had what you had. That only comes from people that are not linked in with Yah. That's where that comes from. When people are not linked in with Yah, you start getting the pride. I'm better than you. Sue is better than me. I'm better than Seek True better than Delta Root better than TT. And then we just go in this circle, and then I want what TT have, and TT want what Sue have. And that's what the world does, because they don't keep the law, statutes, commandments, precepts, ordinances, and judgments. That's the deal. So now we see that at dark, all you have to do to understand Shabbat and keep Shabbat correctly is you look up when the new moon hits. The day of the new moon at evening, that's the Shabbat. The new moon is the Shabbat itself. Now I'm going to show you guys that. We were talking about that, right? So I want to make sure I show that as well. Okay. I want to make sure I show that. Let me go back and search for that real quick, because I want to show you guys that as well. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So now we come back up here. We got new moon. Okay. We got the new moon, and the new moons. I'm gonna give you one. Let's give you. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 23. Okay. So as you can see here in 2 Kings 4 and 23, I'm gonna highlight that portion for you, right? It says, and he said, wherefore wilt thou go to him today? Is it neither new moon nor Shabbat? See that? And she said, it shall be well. So we see now we're talking about the new moon. Now let's drive that new moon down and get that new moon in there, and we can understand some things, right? Now let's go to Yeshaya. Okay, we'll go to Psalms 81 and 23 first. 81 and 3. It says, blow the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. So now it calls the new moon our solemn feast day. Why? Because the new moon is a Shabbat. So every time we got a new moon outside, Dawid, the governor, would have the people blow the shofar, and we would say, okay, boom, we got it. It's new moon. It's finna get dark. New moon just hit. Okay, so we starting the month over. We're in the month of Abib now. We're in the month of whatever, right? And as you can see the Israelites, we started adopting pagan customs, because we went into Babylon. What did we do? We started talking about Nisan, right? What Nisan is not a Hebrew word, right? So we started picking up loan words from other cultures. And that's what we're doing here. When we came into captivity here, we started speaking English, so we started picking up loan words, right? It's daytime, right? So we see that the new moon is a Shabbat day. Now watch this here. Let's keep going. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 66, verse 23. And I'm gonna highlight this. It says, and it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Shabbat to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yah. Hold on. You don't hear nobody talking about new moons. It's always just day 7, day number 7, day number 7, day number 7. But what about the day that starts, day 1, that starts the new month? That tells you where to actually start when your months are there. You can't just pick. Here's the proof. You guys ever notice Passover would be on a Friday or Saturday, like this year just passed? I mean, this year, but last year it wasn't. You also notice it'd be on the 20th or the 21st day, or the 14th or the 17th day, but the Most High said 14 at evening. You ever notice your birthday is on the same day every year, but the day changes because the calendar is wrong? he thinketh to change the times and laws. If I was born on this day and 365 days, this is what I ain't gonna wrap my head around. 365 days pass, I should come back around to the same day. But it never works like that. Your birthday is always on a different day. Right? But why? You were born on this day at this time. So if you come back 365 days later, it should be the same day at that time. But it's never like that. I give you an example. This year, May, I was born on the 28th of May, which was a Wednesday, right? So now, next year, my birthday is on a Thursday. So my birthday went from Wednesday to Thursday. Hold on, but it's 365 days from my day to my day to next year. Why is it changing? Because the calendar is not stable. The calendar is not stable. He thinketh to change the times and laws. So now we're going to read Isaiah 66. I'm sorry. Let's go to Psalm chapter 81, verse 3. Now, remember I told you about David, the governor, instructed him to blow the trumpet, shofar. Psalm 81 and 3 on the screen. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed, on our solemn feast day. So you got a new moon Shabbat that you have to blow the shofar as well. And you look up that word 7782. Obviously, it's the Hebrew word what? Shofar. Okay. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 46, verse 1. Okay. Check this out. Thus saith the Lord, Yah, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days, but on the Shabbat it shall be open, and in the day of the new moon it shall be open. Because the new moon is a Shabbat as well, and it starts the month. So it's holy, consecrated. We're supposed to keep that one as well. So on the new moon, I make sure I'm off, and then guess what? New moon, 7 days later, Shabbat. 7 days after that, day 14, Shabbat. 7 days after that, day 21, Shabbat. 7 days after that, day 28. 7, 14, 21, 28, Shabbat. Then guess what? Next day after that, guess what happens? Another new moon. And then we start over. Whatever day that was of the month on the calendar you follow, if it's a Thursday, Saturday, or Sunday, sometimes Shabbat is on Sunday. Sometimes it's on Saturday. Sometimes it starts on Sunday, Thursday, all day of the week. It doesn't matter because this calendar is wrong. The moon isn't changing. The calendar is changing. Okay? And that's why you see people talking about the new moon at 2:12 p.m. And you look up there, you don't really see no moon sometimes, right? Sometimes you see it in the daytime. But it says, I'm going to read it again. Thus saith the Lord God, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut 6 working days, but on the Shabbat it shall be open, and in the day of the new moon it shall be open. See that? The new moon. So for Shabbat, the door to the inner court is open, and on new moon it's open. That's how important the new moon is, because it starts to let us know 7 days from now you got a Shabbat, and it is a day of rest. It is a Shabbat. We're going to get to that as well, right? Okay, so let's go to Ezekiel. Go down 5 verses on Ezekiel 46 and 6. Look what it says here. And in the day of the new moon, it shall be a young bullock without blemish, and 6 lambs and a ram, and they shall be without blemish. And he shall prepare a meat offering. See that? So we got an offering on the new moon, just like we got Shabbat. And remember, the governor and the priest have to also sacrifice on the weekly Shabbat as well. 1 in the morning, 1 at night. Okay? In daylight hours and at night hours. We're supposed to, and I'll show you guys that if you need to see it. If you've never seen it, I'll show you guys that as well. Let's go to Amos chapter 8, verse 5, right? It says, saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn? See that? So they show you right there. It's a Shabbat. Why? Because they couldn't sell. And it says the children of Israel are trying to sell stuff and waiting on the new moon to be over with. Man, when the new moon gonna be over with, so we can go out and make some money. And watch what it says, saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Shabbat, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small, the shekel great, and falsifying the boundaries by deceit. So even Amos the prophet is letting you know that there's a new moon Shabbat where you can't sell and cook, etc. on that as well. And that's the beginning of the month, moon month Kodesh, right? Kodesh. So Koshet, I was saying Koshet. So you got it just like that. It's real simple. But remember, all you have to do is go online and say, hey, when is the new moon for this month? The new moon for this month starts July 24th. Okay, so July 24th at dark, that's Shabbat. That's a Thursday. So I'm going forward for 4 straight weeks. Don't worry about the 24th and all that crap. Just remember, when the new moon starts, that's a Shabbat. You keep that one. And then the 7 days after that, Shabbat. 7 days after that, Shabbat. 21 days after that, Shabbat. 28 days after that, Shabbat. Then after that, next day, you get another new moon. 29 and a half. 28, next day, 29 and a half. Boom, you get another new moon. And then you do the same thing. Boom, 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 boom. That's why you look at the Shabbat. The Shabbat is on a Wednesday, right? The Shabbat right now is coming up this month. And it's on a Wednesday, which is supposedly the night tomorrow. That's Shabbat. But then when you go back and look at July 24th, when the new moon hits, it's the 24th, which is a Thursday. So you got Wednesday, then you got Thursday. Real simple. Very simple. It's always starting with the new month. And the new month starts on the 24th, not July 1st. July 1st was a Tuesday. And the month had already been going on. Let me go back because I don't know. You guys probably putting some comments that I hadn't even looked. Okay. Okay. Hezekyhwh says, you open my eyes to a new understanding about Shabbat. This is a good thing. Oh, most definitely, brother. Like I said, remember, and it is the crazy part. Like I said, it takes some getting used to. But like I said, if you just get you a calendar, and what I do is I go in my phone and I put on my calendar on my phone. I'd already put, and Sue does the same thing. I think Sue made an actual physical paper as well. But like I was showing Sue, I go in my phone and I put new moon, all for the whole year. And then I start from right there and say, okay, new moon here. That's Shabbat. I don't work on that day. I write my schedules. So when I write my schedules at work, I look and see, okay, what day is Shabbat this month? Okay, Shabbat is here. Okay, so I'm not working this month. I'm not working no Wednesdays and Thursdays. No Wednesdays and Thursdays. Then next when the Shabbat drops, the new moon drops again, I'm not working Thursdays and Fridays. I'm not working Thursdays and Fridays. Like that. And then guess what? Here's the crazy part. You got people that don't know Yah, ain't trying to learn Yah. They work those Fridays and Saturdays. They can be off on those days because I can work them because I'm not working the Shabbat days until it's a Friday and a Saturday. So they never complain because I'll sit there and give them Friday and Saturday, Friday and Saturday, Friday and Saturday, Friday and Saturday. And then when it's my turn to take a Friday and Saturday, they probably been off Friday and Saturday 10, 12 times. And then when mine is over again, it's back to Sunday, Monday. Guess what? I give them Friday and Saturday. They don't complain. They don't cry. And I alternate between my managers and boom, and everything is peaceful. And then think about it. I work on the 4th of July, right? I worked on the 4th of July. Why? Because I don't celebrate the 4th of July. I give them those holidays off. They don't want to follow them. That's fine. Joshua said it best. Choose the days whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. We're going to serve God. So guess what? I give them those days off. They could be and celebrate, pop fireworks. They could be off on things. Well, I think we all off on Thanksgiving, but they can do all the stuff they want to do. On New Year's Eve, I'm there. I don't drink alcohol, so it ain't New Year's for us. Abib is our New Year's. So guess what? When the month of Abib comes around and I'm off, and when Passover comes around and I'm off, and I'm taking my vacation time when I'm not working during that 7 days. Oh, they don't have a problem because they've been getting the best chief days according to them. They've been getting off on Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, Father's Day, 4th of July, Memorial Day. I've been working all those days. And it'd be times I'll talk to people, like one of my Hebrew brethren here from the house of Yah. You know, I hired him or whatnot, Brother Amaziah. And we'll be at work like, why are they so busy? And he'll be like, oh, no. I'm like, man, it's crazy busy, okay? It ain't even the weekend, but it's busy. And then we'll look, it's the day before a major holiday. That's how detached we are from the system. He'll come say, I know what it was. Like, what's going on? Man, you know, the 4th coming up. Oh, the 4th tomorrow. Because I don't celebrate it. And remember, I'm always looking at the calendar based on Shabbat. I'm not paying attention to the holidays. All right. So Hezekyhwh says it's definitely good to let brothers or sisters know when they brought you some encouragement, like, oh, most definitely. And then he says, evening is complete darkness, correct, Delta Roots. Evening is complete darkness. Now, I'm gonna give you an example. So I'm gonna look outside. Remember, I showed you guys outside how I looked outside earlier, right? I'm gonna let me just twist it. And as you can see, Now it's dark outside. So if this was the same time tomorrow, Shabbat would have started. When it got dark, when you went outside and it was dark, no twilight, no light outside. As you can see now, it's dark outside, right? So guess what? It's a new day. It's a new day right now. Then tomorrow at this time, etc., it's going to be a new day, right? And that's Shabbat. And none of the camps, none of the people that call themselves Israelites, none of them are keeping it correctly because they don't understand, they don't grasp what it is they're really saying, what it is they're really doing. Okay. I don't know how I hit this thing up here. Okay. There we go. All right. So that's that, right? Let's keep going. Seek truth. Say 100. Bullseye fire. And then let's see. Delta Root says we're going to continue this in the future. It's suspended now. Well, no, the Shabbat actually isn't suspended. It's throughout all our generations. A lot of people think it's suspended, but that's where the mercy and compassion comes in. Just like we can't sacrifice, what does Yah say? We offer up the calves of our lips. So the sacrifice is the calves of our lips, our prayers. So now that, see, if you ask the Most High to get you a job where you can keep Shabbat, but in your head, you don't know what Shabbat is. So you're looking for a job and you're going around trying to find a job where you can be off every Friday and Saturday, right? And those exist. You got banks, you got schools, right? Like I said, teacher jobs, schools, stuff like that. So those jobs do exist. But if you're asking for that, you can ask Yah for that, but that's not Shabbat. Or you can work these other jobs, do everything in your power to liberate yourself from those jobs or put yourself in a position where you can make your own schedule. I'm not here to judge any man, and I'm not here to tell somebody, hey man, you better quit your job. No, you will never hear that from me because you have loved ones and things you have to take care of. Now, once you know the truth, now you know Yah what to ask Yah for. Now Yah will honor it. Yah will set it up. When I figured this out, that was one of the main reasons why I only take management jobs, because I want to be able to write my own schedule and not be in a sense. I want to be the actual head honcho where I don't have to ask somebody, can I be off certain days? Because it sounds strange. Hey man, I need to be off every Wednesday and Thursday this month. Then come back. I need to be off every Thursday and Friday next month. Or I need to be off every Sunday and Monday or Tuesday. They're like, what are you doing? Right? So I just make my schedule like that. It's plain. I'm working all these Saturdays. And then people sit there and say, well, okay, he's working. So then when it does come around, hey, there's no issue. Hosea 3:4-5. Correct. Any recommendation for dealing with jobs that want to let you swap days off? I would say this here, brother. Just be wise in what you're doing, right? The ultimate recommendation is really telling Yah, apologizing to Yah for us breaking Shabbat, and then getting with Yah and asking Yah to help us be able to not have to break his Shabbat, because we're servants in captivity. Now, here's the deal. If you go before Yah with a contrite spirit and an open mind and tell Yah, I want to keep your Shabbat. I see what it's saying in the book. Evening is dark. I see when the Shabbat actually starts. It's crystal clear. The new moon is the first day of the month, and 7 days later is day 7, day 14, day 21, day 28. The day after 28 is 29. Every 29 and a half days, you get a what? Another new moon. So guess what? Then we start over again. So once you understand that, Yah smiles, and then Yah says, okay, well, I got something. I can help you out with that. That's no problem. But see, remember, if we're trying to do it, it's going to be very difficult. I know people don't want to swap. And here's the deal. If they don't want to let you swap days off, that's what it is. Again, I'm Hebrew Tactical Brother. I'll never tell you or anyone else to throw away your livelihood, take care of yourself, your children, etc. to do. Remember, it's just a discussion between Yah. Because think about it. If you've been keeping the Shabbat wrong, which 99.999% of all of us have, right? If we've been keeping it wrong this long and we know we're not now, we go before Yah and ask him. I don't think he's going to crush us when we find out what's right and then we try to do what's right. He's going to help us. I promise you he's going to help us. He's going to help you. I promise you he's going to help you. And if that means you can't do it this week or next week, nobody wants to swap, then guess what? You go to Yah with fervent prayer and say, hey, look, Yah, This is what I really need. I need this from you. I want to follow you. I want to do what's right. And those conversations we have with our Father. It's like when a person asks me, not you type of people, but when a person asks me, they say, they'll say something like, prove to me God exists. And I'm like, what? Like, that's the most asinine thing I've ever heard. You're supposed to have a personal relationship with your creator, not based on me. Like, that's crazy. Ezekiel 45:22, the prince going to offer sin offering for himself, and the people, but JC offer sin offering once and for all. Right. Listen, if I pay if I need my electricity bill paid, and Delta Roots, you paid my electricity bill for me, and then tomorrow I come home getting ready before Shabbat, and my wife said electricity off, that means you didn't pay it. You told me you did, but you didn't pay it. So, like I tell you all the time, it's a sin offering. You know, I asked it was a Christian and a Muslim on here once, and I asked them, I said, guys, if he died for our sins, why did we go into captivity? Because captivity is due to sin. So why did we go into captivity? And they just, you saw it, they bid around the bush, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They couldn't answer it. Death Roots, I have easy schedules. I work 4 10-hour shifts, Monday through Thursday. My job is flexible. I can take off. Been at my job 10 years. See what I'm saying? Listen, so guess what? That's not by happen chance that you've been at your job 10 years. You got flexibility at your job. You work 4 10-hour shifts. That's not by happenstance that now you understand what Shabbat is and you can keep it. See, that's what I mean. Remember, Yah is not waiting on us to learn. Sometimes Yah is just setting stuff up because he knows all the beginning and the end. He knows exactly when things are going to happen and when things are going to transpire. So Yah knows. So he may even set it up, but in Hebrew tactical case, it may not be set up yet. But if you go before him, I know he's going to make the adjustment. And if he don't make the adjustment, okay, watch this here. If I go to Yah and say, Yah, I want to be able to afford some fringes for my shirts. And Yah, I don't have any money for my fringes. And I'm dead broke. And he knows if you're broke or not, right? I'm just dead broke. So Yah, I really want to get money for fringes. I lay it out to Yah. If Yah don't come through with money for fringes, I don't buy fringes. You can't be mad at me if I'm asking you to help me be obedient. It's real simple. Like, Yah is not mad at us. If we're trying to be obedient, he's not going to be mad at us because we're just babies. Hebrew tacticals. I mean, oh yeah. Okay, I got you. I saw the question he had asked in a recommendation. Seek truth. I'm blessed that I work for myself. I found that easy when I started honoring the Shabbat. Yeah, because like I said, so now watch this here. Now watch this here. Now I'm gonna show you guys something. Let's say you have a business in this captivity. What days are the most shop days that people patronize your business to pay you money for your services and your business? What day are the most shop days? Somebody answer that. What days are the most shop days that the most commerce is done? Is it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday? What's the number one day we see sales and people out shopping and doing everything and taking care of business, etc.? Saturday. And watch this here. You're right, it's Saturday. And what's the second most busiest day that people are out shopping, etc., etc.? We all see it. Friday. There you go. So your two busiest days of shopping or if somebody patronizing your business is going to be on Friday and Saturday. Now, let me show you how much mercy and compassion Yah has. If people are buying and spending in a spending mode and you have a business and it's more shoppers on Friday and Saturday, look at what Yah just did for you by really keeping the Shabbat. It's not every Friday and Saturday. So you don't have to feel bad. Now, I give you a prime example. I have products and stuff I sell online, right? And when it's Shabbat, My phone goes off. I look at them. Okay, I got 3 days to respond. But which is perfect. Products go. I sell a product. 3 days to respond. Well, Shabbat is only 24-hour period. So guess what? If it comes, like if I got a sale tomorrow, and then let's say I got it tomorrow and I wasn't able to take it, package it up, and take it to the post office. Well, then of course I'll send it. I'll package it up either before Shabbat or right after Shabbat, and then the next day I just take it up there. Let's say you're a barber, because those are people that make a lot of money on the weekends. People get haircuts to go back to work. People go out to clubs and all the other stuff they do, right? So say you're a barber. Well, if you're cutting hair and busy is Friday after school, Saturday morning, well, guess what? For the month of June and July, you're good. The month of August, you're good. You probably won't be cutting on a Saturday until a Friday to Saturday, Friday, sundown to Saturday, sundown, probably like September, October, something like that. Then guess what you can do? You can start booking people at certain times where you can do it before the Shabbat or right after the Shabbat, etc. Might end up making extra money because you can do it after hours or whatever. Hezekyhwh says, them employers love you if you want to work at Christmas or any of those houses. Correct. And I pray y'all pray for me as well, because I have an interview tomorrow at another company making more money or whatnot, and hopefully I get it. But again, I put myself in a position with my 20 plus years of management experience. I've been a manager since I was a young man, like 21 years old. So, because I've always been a person that catch on to things real fast, and I'm very good at teaching, coaching, development, training, delegating, and explaining things. So I've always been in. So now I'm doing that right now, and then of course there's somebody offering me something. So hopefully I get that. That'll be a lot more. And in this time, everything is going up in price, so I can definitely use it. So I pray you guys pray for me on that. And then he said Exodus 31, 16, 17, the Shabbat is perpetual covenant to all generations. Correct. So we keep it now. Now, here's where, this is why I don't really argue with people about you better do X, Y, and Z. Da, da, da. I don't, because I'm not the Most High, obviously, right? But then also because I don't want to tell somebody something wrong. And I'm not 100% certain on that, because we don't have any example of Daniel observing the Shabbat in Babylon. And be honest with you, I'm not sure if that's the Most High showing us that. So you may be right in that aspect, Delta Roots. But at the same time, Hezekyhwh, I just try to keep the Shabbat. That's it. I just try to keep the Shabbat. And from what I figured out, how the actual Shabbat actually works, I can put it in front of anybody. It's basic math. It's really not difficult. People might say to me, how did you figure this out? I'm like, I'll be driving, just be thinking about stuff. And I'll be like, oh, that don't add up. When I get back home, I'll look into this. That's kind of how my mind works. And then as Hezekyhwh said, he said, just babe trying to learn to walk it out with an honest and open heart. That's it. And if you're doing that, just like my sons come to me and say, Dad, I can't do X, Y, and Z. I can call them in there right now. Hezekyhwh, I know that's like, I was like, you can't. They'll say, you're right. No such word as can't, only won't. Yeah, because we don't do the whole can't thing. You can do it. What are you trying to do? Do you have the information? Do you have the tools to do it? That's a different thing. That doesn't mean you can't do it, right? That doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you don't have the tools or the knowledge to do it right now. But we can get that. You said, yep, Saturday. I used to listen to y'all rights and spend all these years fighting for Friday to set it off, and now it's blowing my mind. I got to change it up. Listen, brother. I mean, think about it. Let me ask. Okay, so I'm glad Hebrew Tactical said that, because I'm gonna ask you 3 questions, and just answer them as, and any of you guys, all you guys, answer them as honestly as possible. Fridays and Saturdays, right? Okay. Did the children of Israel, did David, did Moshe, Jeremiah, Yeshaya, did they use the Gregorian calendar? You see? They didn't. Because Pope Gregory didn't exist at the time. See what I'm saying? So if our forefathers who gave this to us from Yah Eloheinu, the strong one, then why are we trying to use a different calendar system? Daniel warned us. He thinketh to change the times and laws. And Yehuda and I had a conversation about this, and his response to me was, he understood what I was saying. This was a while ago. He said, but he knew a woman, and the woman, she said when she started trying to keep it based off the new moon, her children started acting aggravated. And I'm like, no. That is not a reason not to keep Shabbat the correct way, because a teenage child started acting funny with their parents. That has nothing to do with Shabbat. That's what happens with teenagers, period. Secret said, well, I raised cattle and cut hay for a living, occasionally doing electrical work. Hey, bro, I would love to trade occupations with you. I'm getting more into the farming and the homestead. I love that. I love gardening, right? And so I got to show you, I took a big melon. I grew a big melon. I got out the front, my front yard, huge melon. And then I got like 40 ears of corn I'm growing out back that they're coming through. So, okay. And I'm gonna try to speed through some of these because I'm replying this stuff y'all already asked, and I'd already looked at it prior, so it's kind of crazy. Like Seek Troop was saying, I would say Saturday, probably even Friday, or that's a close second. Correct. So we was already talking about that, right? What's that verse that talks about being for sure of things in your heart on a matter? Let me see something real quick. I think I know what you're talking about. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on one second. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm trying to remember it, brother. It'll probably come back to me. Okay, so let me keep going. It'll come back to me. I'm pretty sure it will. That who said when I said it was spend, I meant sacrifices. Yeah, sacrifices spending. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, laugh out loud. No. I'm reading no, and laugh out loud. I don't even know what I asked y'all. So I don't forgot that fast. So that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to speed through some of these real quick. Oh, I think that was in reference to the Gregorian calendar. Yeah, that's what it was. Thank you, y'all. We already have that perfect sacrifice, no sacrifice needed, and a new high priest. Correct. Delta roots. Yeah, but Delta roots. Okay. No. Yah righteousness. He was first person I learned from about J.C. Smith. Then I found you. Yeah. I mean, I love Brother Yehuda as well. So it just, I mean, again, I don't really look at people like, oh, he's, because I think he's a very honest person. I think he's a very, and as he'll tell you, like, we all develop. I used to worship JC like years ago. So we all, and I don't think he ever worshiped just JC. But again, like with the Shabbat question you guys asked, I'm a little bit more realistic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, Yah knows we're here. So if I sit there and tell someone, they might say, well, Hezekiah, you don't have the faith just to quit your job, brother. And hey, I don't. Not because I love man, not because I fear anything. It's just a matter of, in this climate, Yah put me here to take care of my sons and the next generation. So when I figure something out, I talk to Yah. I talk to the master. It's his job. Just like it's my job. My children, I'm responsible for feeding, clothing, sheltering them, and giving them some of their wants and taking care of all their needs. That's my job as a man in general. And if any of us can't do that, we feel bad. Right? Any woman, Sue, would feel bad. So I know it'd have to hurt the Most High as well if you got genuine children trying to do right. He says, I'm pretty sure most of my family just thinks I'm crazy, including my wife and children. Well, let me tell you something. Be the light that they need to see. They'll listen, once you lay down specific laws, just be the light that they need to see. And when things happen, for the good or the bad, you make sure they verbally hear you talking about Yah, and everything will work itself out. I promise you, they'll come around. They'll come around. If you do it that way, they'll come around. That was an excellent, brother. I appreciate this. Oh, most definitely, brother. Listen, like I said, I love all y'all brothers and sisters. Love my sister Sue. Love you, Delta, Seek True, Tactical Hebrew. And like I said, I was talking to a brother. He was trying to make, and I think I mentioned this in Sunday. So back in the day when I was first on YouTube, I've had like 9 channels suspended, right? Now, granted, I was a little bit more radical, so I'm not going to be Sunday. I was a little bit more radical. But it was like 15, 16 years ago, maybe. A little longer, maybe a little longer. Anyway, because I was one of the first people I saw on YouTube actually teaching. I was on there before House of David. I was on there before ISUPK, all those people, right? And what I can tell you is this. It's been a steady, progressive journey, trying to do right, questioning things, understanding things. I did a 24-part series on JC, completely debunking it, called all the camps out, boom, 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 boom. They didn't want to even address it at all. Then YouTube just pulled it down. I even got a call from people. I'll discuss that in another deal. Somebody remind me about the call I received from overseas. And it's crazy. But I say all that to say this. With all the stuff that was going on, all the stuff that was coming, I was never in it for views or fame. You guys that like Delta Roots, I've been knowing Delta for a while. You guys will know, like, I'll probably go like almost a year when I didn't posting anything. Because I know it was like years with my sons, Hezekyhwh and Noah, because they're right behind each other, that I didn't post for years because I was literally busy just developing them, trying to teach them how to read, write Hebrew, how to read scriptures. They don't call it the Bible, they call it the history book. And people that have been fortunate enough to call and talk to me and talk to my sons, they'll hear me talk to them. They know what real money is, silver and gold. So I was putting a lot of time developing my children. So brother told me, he said, yeah, man, nobody know you. I'm like, that's fine. I said, listen, I was never in this to be known. If I was in this to be known, I'd be trying to teach JC. You teach JC, you can have tons of people follow you, right? Prime example, if you are an Israelite and you teach you're an Israelite and you follow JC, nobody's going to call you crazy. You see Israelites popping up like willows by the water everywhere. No, it's when you denounce the idol that people look at you like something wrong with you. Right? So again, listen, in this life, you're lucky to have 3 or 4 good people that you can call friends. I feel better just talking to sincere people that's honest. Look, in this comment section, people saying no, people saying yes, people asking questions. That is pure honesty, man. The Most High is smiling. That's honesty. We're being honest. Like, I can come out and say, yeah, man, I used to worship the idol JC. You know, you don't hear the camp saying stuff like that I used to be wrong. No, they got 100% truth. The home of the truth, right? You see what I'm saying? But that's not realistic. We're all growing. You know, that's why they're still out there talking about Esau. They're out there still talking about the white man. And don't even understand it's what we did that we pierced Yah's heart that caused all this calamity. And it's the reason the earth is destroyed. If anybody should be mad, it should be the heathen mad at us. Because the heathen don't have Yah. They never had Yah. They can experience Yah, but they never had Yah. As he said, I have not dealt so with any other nation. So our ability to let the heathen convince us to not follow the ways of the Creator is why there's pollution, why there's the attack is on, and soon I talk about this all the time. The attack is on all fronts, right? It's on all fronts. The food, the water. They talking about all the plastic contaminants everybody have in them. Why? Because for the long we knew tap water was bad, so we was just buying bottled water. Now it's like, okay, buy glass water. So like, all I see here is in the glass is Perrier, and I don't like sparkling water. So it's like you drink water, you try to drink alkaline water, you try to drink natural spring water, and things like that. But then the plastic, so it is contaminants. So it's like all this stuff. The attack is on, right? The attack is on on all angles, brothers and sisters. The attack is on. Financially, economics. You see they suppress silver, they suppress gold, true wealth. Bitcoin go up, Bitcoin come down. Stocks go up, stocks come down. The only people really winning are the people at the top, right? So the 1%, the so-called illuminated ones, the Illuminati really have no real illumination because Yah has removed the wisdom and understanding out of the Mount of Esau. And anybody following the ways and the machinations of the Mount of Esau, they don't know nothing at all. So we got that going for us. But when you look at everything, man, the water, the vaccines, and think about our parents, they got us vaccinated. They didn't know. I knew, so my sons are not vaccinated. They never sick. I take it back. Now, my sons do attend school. Like the first 4 years they didn't attend school. I started putting them in school kind of like for social engineering type purposes or whatnot, to socialize. Because it's a difference between talking to your mother and father and your parents and versus people your own age and learning those critical social skills, etc. Right? I stay in a mostly, predominantly, I guess you could say, so-called white neighborhood or whatever. But even if it was a black, I don't really trust my children being out, just walking down the streets. Like when I was little, I'd walk to the store. I'd be holding other different neighborhoods, right? But I don't think that's a good thing. In this time, people are kidnapping children, sex trafficking, etc. And I have some handsome sons, so I don't want nothing happening to them or whatnot, But so I allowed them to go to school. So of course I talk to them. Hey, what did y'all talk about in school today? And they know when there's Halloween parties and stuff like that, my children are excused. They don't even have to go. Okay. And then as Judgment said, exactly work to provide. Seek Truth said, I like and subscribe to your channel, brother. I'll be back. I appreciate you, Seek Truth. Everybody thumb up and like the video, so maybe hope more people can see it. And here's the deal: if you guys ever want to come on and talk, I'll drop the link. You can always come in and talk. You might, because I was talking to the Delta Roost the other day. He came on Sunday. People think I just be like arguing with people, and I don't. It's when you hate and you have a misunderstanding and you intentionally misunderstand Yah, that gets on my nerves. When you just try to discredit Yah, that gets on my nerves. He says, my child mom don't understand Yah. When I told her, I try to explain he's God of Israel, went to the same apostolic church. She doesn't want to hear sometimes. She's not a bad person. It can get tired. Exactly. That's life. So what you do, you pray for him. You pray for him. That's all. You pray for him. You still do right. And, it's just like anything else. You'll be doing right. And then all of a sudden on one day on a Tuesday, she'll come around. But when we stress and worry and have fear, then it's like, you just do what's right. You pray to Yah, hey, keep my son. Hey, babe, I love you. Or, hey, if we broke up, I don't know what the situation is, but hey, listen, please just don't listen for me. Please don't feed him this. If you need money for groceries, I got you. Feed him this. Don't feed him that. Please. If you could just do that for me. And the things like that. You rationalize, try to reason with people. He said, I didn't get a chance to do your JC series 10 to 25. They were fired. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was showing all the stuff at churches and all the stuff that's illuminated that they kind of hide. I was showing all that stuff and they shut it down. No cursing, no nothing in it. But they shut it down. So I already knew what time it was. See, truth, I feel you, but I just try to be an example for them the best I can. Yep, the Delta Rules. That's it. Okay. Israel's real fault was they failed to spread the light to the rest of the world to be that example. But I don't even blame him for that. I think it was all his plan. Yeah, that's okay. So what you just said, see, truth, that's absolute truth. The relative truth is we failed. The absolute truth is that Yah is going to use us as a redemption story. The Isaiah 53, the suffering servant, that's us. That's not Jason, that's us. And he's going to use us to say, you know what? We know Yah is real because those people, they were on the bottom of society wherever they were. And look at them now running the world in righteousness. The current events will be peace and righteousness. The current events will be, man, it's some nice crops growing over there in such and such place. That would be the current event. Or it's a new spring of clean water that just came up in that place. That would be the current events. Not, what is Russia gonna do? Who is Gog and Magog? The America's giving up on Ukraine, right? Up on Ukraine. Now they're trying to help the true heathen, aka Amalek, the Amalekite Edomites, aka the Ashkenazi. Okay. And pretty soon they're gonna try to stop people from looking at that as well. So yeah, you're right. Seek truth. It's absolute and relative truth. That's something I teach that a lot of people don't understand. But the relative truth is how we see it. The absolute truth is Yah's plan, right? And then TT, thumbs up back to you, brother. Like I said, I love all y'all. Pray for me. I'll pray for you guys. Let's just stay on the track. We don't have much time. We see everything is really kind of like, really kind of falling off and on the back end or whatnot. And we see society is crumbling. And the attack, I said, the attack is on. If you can grow as much food as you can. If you don't have much space, grow what you can grow. Grow some herbs, grow some basil. My next door neighbor, and she's a pale face and she's very, very kind. Every time I walk out, my garden better than hers, and she be always trying to offer me stuff. I love her though. I love her to death. She's real good. She looks out for her. I look out for her as well. So that's how it's supposed to be. We live peaceably with all our people, and she'll tell me, hey, I got some chickens for you. If you want some chickens, I'm like, nah, no chickens. And then she'll ask me, and she'll come back and say, well, why don't you eat chicken? And that's how the gateway open up, And sometimes she'll be like, well, I don't know if I can stop eating that. But she, other than that, she don't keep the law like that wholeheartedly. But I wouldn't trade her as a neighbor unless it was somebody that kept the law whole 100%, right? Wholeheartedly. I traded for Delta Roots, TT, Tactical Truth, Hebrew Tactical. I traded for Sue. But other than that, no, I can't complain. She's a good person. She looks out for us or whatnot, Yep, may Yah bless us all and keep us all and bless us all and our loved ones. Correct, bro. So like I said, I want to say Shema Yisrael, Yahweh, Yah, Yah, take care of TT, take care of Seek Truth, take care of Delta Roots, take care of Hebrew Tactical, take care of Sue, my sister, take care of all of us that love you, Yah. And if we make mistakes, please show that mercy and compassion to all of us, that we may still live within your sight and make it to the kingdom, to your kingdom, to do your will, to teach the world your will, your ways, your righteousness. In Yah's name we pray, amen. So I appreciate all y'all brothers and sisters. And if y'all on the comment section, like I said, I'm off this week. And then pretty much almost next week too. So if you guys want, you can hit me up. I know it's tomorrow Shabbat. If you guys want to do a live, just text me on the video. And thank you, Sue. Thank you for praying for me, Sue. And I pray for you too as well, Sue. Love you, Sue. That's my sister. That's Sue, my sister. And like I said, if you guys want to see anything or talk about anything in particular, I'll do it. I'll do it as long as you guys are here. I'll do it. It doesn't matter what day. We'll do a setup or whatever. You guys just jump on. Amen. Amen. Yes. I'll give you a prime example. There are Israelites with the name Baal, right? Because in the language, let me just show you that real quick before we go real quick. No, I know, I knew someone was going to ask about Amen. I knew someone was going to ask about it. It's cool. And here, I typically don't say it, but it's not no reason I don't say it. So it's Amen, right? It says, and in the Hebrew, it means sure, faithfulness, truly, so be it. That's what it means in Hebrew. We're not Commissions. We're not calling on the name of a deity, Amen Ra, Amen Re, etc. Amen is what we're saying in the language of our forefathers. Now watch this here. If you go and look in the scriptures, I'm going to show you something real quick. I'm going to show you something real quick, right? So check this out. Let me see something. I want to show you something. Oh, it froze up on me. Let's see. Hold on. I got all kind of stuff running. Websites, games, all kind of stuff running. Let me see if I can do it this way. You okay, man? What's that? Oh, my speaker. Thank you. You ain't got to whisper. Tell everybody, hey. Oh, Sue on here. Tell Sue, hey. She was asking about you earlier, Sue.
I ask about you every day.
Right. Let me see. Hold on. Let me show y'all something real quick. I want to show y'all before, because that's a good thing. That you asked it. I'm glad you asked that. Let's see. So let me show you something. And this is to help you with that. And this is something, because I know a lot of people sit there and say, well, man, we shouldn't say this and we shouldn't say that, and we shouldn't do this and we shouldn't do that. And it's all about context, right? Okay. Okay, so let me show you something real quick. Because I just remember multiple Hebrew Israelites that had, matter of fact, let me see something. One was like a master archer or whatnot. And the word for archer slips my mind right now in Hebrew. But that was his name. Let me see something real quick. All right. Okay, so I'll just give an quick example here with the word master, right? If you look at the word master, it's the Hebrew word Adam, right? And then we get Adonai from, right? And it'll say sovereign, that is controller. Let me move this banner real quick. Hold on 1 second. And let me hide that banner. Okay. And you can see it here, it says Adon, and it says that is controller, human or divine, Lord, master, owner. You know, Adonai. See that? So when you look up the word Lord, that's what the word Baal means. It means Lord or master. Now, here's the deal. A Canaanite is worshiping a deity named Baal. But the Israelites and the Canaanites, we spoke the same language, just a different dialect. So you'll see we'll use the word Baal, but we're not talking about, unless we were going off, but we weren't talking about a deity named Baal. That's Yah. Our deity name is Yah. So when it said that Abraham was Sarah's Lord and master, that is the word Baal. So, but again, just like Amen, we're not calling on another deity's name. In our language, Amen means true, so it be done. It is what it is. So today we just say facts. Is what it is. David them said Amen. That's all it was. Now, if you go into Egypt, or if I walk in your house and you got a pyramid and you got a bust, Egyptian bust, and you bowing down and praying, and yeah, you're in the wrong, you're in idolatry. But we're not calling on the name of a deity. Because do y'all know how many deities have names that you... Okay, prime example, Happy. There's an Egyptian god named Happy. But we all want to be happy. So when I sit there and say my sons are happy, I am not calling on the Egyptian deity. I'm using the English word happy, which means to be enlightened, elated, etc. That's all it is. It's just different languages. So a lot of times people look at it from that standpoint and, you know, they kind of miss it like that. So that's all it is, brother. So I'm glad you got that. Everybody got that. So with that being the case, I love all y'all. Like I said, I pray for y'all. Y'all pray for me, as we should be doing anyway. If you see some things going on in your deal, because I had a dream, I had a crazy dream. I'm gonna start talking. Matter of fact, I think I might go live tomorrow because I'm off the rest of the week anyway, and tomorrow is Shabbat, so we'll do a Shabbat lesson, something on current events. We'll really discuss some current events, dreams, and stuff I've been having as of late. And if y'all want to chime in, y'all can. So, peace, love all y'all. Be safe. Y'all bless.